Guys, this is Rachel from Cypress Textiles, and today we're going to be making the Barcelona Square from the 2020 VVCAL. This is Shapeuse Katana, but for the sample I'm going to actually be using Shapeuse Color Crafter with a 4 1/4 millimeter hook. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started with a slip knot and then a chain 3, and you can chain 4 or you can make a magic ring, whatever you prefer, and then just make a slip stitch into the third chain from the hook to close that ring. And then straight into the ring I'm going to make a beginning treble. So I don't chain up for a single crochet, and the beginning treble is single chain 2. So just go straight into the middle of your ring with a single crochet and then chain 2, and that is the first treble of what's going to be a 5 treble cluster. So this is the first 5 treble cluster of the round. So you need to have this beginning treble, then yarn over twice, insert your hook into the ring, pull up a loop, draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, and you're going to leave this last loop behind. Then you're going to repeat that 3 more times. Okay, so that's the second one, that's the third one, and the fourth one. So now you've got 5 loops on your hook, and this is the beginning treble, and then all of these 4 are like partial trebles, basically, without making that very last step. So now when you yarn over and draw the yarn through all 5 loops, this is your beginning 5 TR cluster. All right, so now we're going to chain 6. And then we're going to work a regular 5 TR cluster. Since it's the second one of the round, you don't have to worry about that beginning treble stitch. So just do your yarn over twice, insert into the ring, pull up a loop, draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook twice, leave this loop behind here. You don't make the complete treble is what I mean, just a partial treble, and then do that 4 more times. So here's the 4th one, and then here is the 5th one. Okay, so now you've got 6 loops on your hook because you have this leading loop from the chain there. So you've got your 6 loops on your hook, and you can kind of move it over to the side because there's going to be 4 of these in like a plus sign formation. So yarn over, draw the yarn through all the loops, and then you've got your 5 TR cluster. So you can see how this is going to start to look here. Now you're into a repeat, so just chain 6 and 5 TR cluster, and then chain 6, 5 TR cluster, chain 6. So I'll show you how it looks whenever I'm finished with this round. All right, so I'm finished with this round. I just need to join it, and I wanted to show you that before I just went ahead and did it. So you can see I've got 4 5 TR clusters here, including that first one that we made that has the beginning treble on it. And then we have 4 chain 6 spaces. So how I'm going to join into this beginning 5 TR cluster is I'm going to just put all these partial treble loops back on the hook, and I'm just going to make my slip stitch at that time, so that way it looks like the other clusters and it doesn't look any different even though it is the beginning one. Okay, so now we're ready to start round 2. So we're going to work straight into this chain space with a beginning 2 DC cluster. So how that looks is it has a beginning DC and then a regular DC. So just go straight in with a single and a chain 1. That's your first DC. That's beginning DC right there. Single crochet, chain 1. And then make a regular double crochet. And that together is going to be like your 2 DC cluster. Then we're going to chain 2 and make a regular 2 DC cluster. So I'll show you how to do that. Just yarn over once, insert your hook in the chain space and pull up a loop, and draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, leave this loop behind, and then repeat that. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. Just bring the yarn through all 3, and that's your 2 DC cluster. Chain 2, 2 DC cluster, all in the same chain space. chain 2, and 2 DC cluster again. Okay, so now you've got 4 2 DC clusters and 3 chain 2 spaces in this chain space here. And that's including the beginning 2 DC cluster that we made. Now you're going to chain 2 and work the next chain space in the same way. So just make a 2 DC cluster, chain 2, 2 DC cluster. This is going to be 4 2 DC clusters in this corner chain space. All right, and this is the 4th one here. Okay, so you can see the corner looks the same with my 2 DC clusters and my chain 2 spaces in between. So now chain 2, and we're in our repeat. So just work these next 2 chain spaces the same way, and don't forget to make your chain 2 in between when working the next chain space. All right, so I've got this round complete. I'm just ready to join with the slip stitch. So I've got 2 chains here, and I'm going to show you how to go into this beginning 2 DC cluster, just like if it were a regular 2 DC cluster. So just go straight into these 2 parts of the regular DC. So you're just going to ignore the beginning DC and then go straight into these 2 portions right here of the regular double crochet with a slip stitch. All right, so now we're going to start the next round, and you see these 3 chain spaces here. We're going to work 5 double crochet in each of them. So to start that, I'm going to start with a beginning double crochet, just a single and a chain 1, and then 4 regular double crochets in that same chain space. All right, and now we're going to work 5 double crochet in each of these next 2 chain spaces. Okay, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to skip this chain 2 space, and then in each of these next chain spaces, we're going to work 5 double crochet, and then chain 1 and skip this chain space. And that's how we're going to work all the way around. So I'll show you how it looks when I'm done with this. So here's how my round looks, and I have my 3 sets of 5 DC in each of these kind of corners, and then I have a chain 1, and I've skipped this chain 2 space, so you can see how it looks there. And I haven't joined my round because on this round you actually don't join. You're just going to go straight into working the next round, so I'll show you that. So we're going to work round 4 by making a 5 DC together, or DC 5 together across these first 5 stitches. So you're going to have to make a beginning DC for this first one because it's the first one of the round. So go ahead and make a single crochet straight into that beginning DC, the chain. So just go straight into there with a single crochet and a chain 1. And you can see how that kind of joins your round anyway. So that's your beginning DC there. And now you're gonna DC together these next 4 stitches. So this beginning DC added to this DC 4 together is what's gonna make your beginning DC 5 together. And that's a mouthful, so let me just show you how it looks. So yarn over, insert your hook into this first full DC here, pull up a loop, and draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. And now go into yarn over and go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and draw the yarn through 2 loops. Same thing with the next stitch, and then once more. So now you've got 5 loops on your hook, and whenever you draw the yarn through all those loops, you've closed your beginning 5 DC together, or DC 5 together. And then chain 5. And now you're going to make a DC 5 together over the next 5 DC. So yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop, pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, and 4 more times. And once more. All right, so now I have 6 loops on the hook because we've got this leading loop from the chain here. So draw the yarn through all 6 loops, and now we're going to make a picot. So you're just going to make chain 5 and then slip stitch in the 5th chain from the hook. All right, and now your picot is made. So now chain 5 and 5 DC together, DC 5 together over the next 5 stitches. Okay, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, draw the yarn through all 6 loops. And now here's how our corner is going to look. Okay, and then we're going to chain 2, double crochet into this chain 1 space, chain 2, and now you're just going to go into a repeat of DC 5 together, chain 5, DC 5 together, make your picot, chain 5, DC 5 together, and that's how we're going to work all the way around. All right, so my second to last round is complete. I've got a chain 2 on my hook ready to join into this beginning cluster here. So just like before, pick up all those loops of those partial DCs, and then just go ahead and make your slip stitch in there. That way it looks just like the others. So now we're on our final round, and we're going to make just a single crochet all the way around. So 5 singles in this first chain space. All right, and then 5 singles in this picot. So just work straight into the picot just like if it were a regular chain space. And then 5 singles in the next chain space. All right, and then in these next couple chain spaces, you're gonna work 3 singles, a single in this center DC stitch there, and then 3 singles in the next chain space. And now we're back to our repeat. So just 5, 5, and 5. And then when you get to this part, 3, 1, and 3. Okay, so pretty simple final round here. Okay, so my round is complete. I just need to join with a slip stitch in the first single of the round, and then pull up a long loop, cut my yarn tail, and after I weave that in, I'll be done. So this is the Barcelona square from the 2020 VVCAL. If you want more of these squares, go to cypresstextiles.net, and I've got all those squares going. This is week 7 of the CAL. Still plenty of time to catch up. There's 20 weeks. So if you want to watch the next video, I will see you then. Bye-bye.